Eurovision fan, are you ready for the show? What I have in store for you today. I'm so excited, so you have to be excited. I am joined by Ahlena. You know, Poland had a national selection this year, and if you watched it and you didn't remember this song, I really don't know what you were doing when you were watching the show. You must have gone to the bathroom or something like that. Okay, Ahlena, thank you so much for meeting with me today.
And thank you for having me.
So the dust has settled from the national selection. Let's just start off. Can you tell me what was the process like for you finding out about it? Did someone ask you? Did you just submit your song? Was it from a songwriting camp? Can you just tell me how did you even get into the national selection?
No, it was actually a very crazy experience for me because I wrote this song probably at some point in 2021, and then I left it for a while. And when I thought it was time for me to release my first song, um, I went back to all the archives, and my producer and we picked Booty because we thought, okay, it's provocative. People will talk about it, and yeah, we chose Booty after all, for the first single, and we started working on it. Now, for many reasons, it kind of was slow. The production went slow, but in the end, it was good because due to that delay on production, I could then submit it to Eurovision. So everything happens for a reason. But yeah, the song never was. I didn't write it, and we didn't produce it for Eurovision. It was a very spontaneous thing on my side, where I was watching something, like scrolling on my phone, and I saw Eurovision ad. I was like, oh my god, Eurovision is on again, obviously. Um, Let me check, because now I have a song. So let me check the requirements if my song is good for the Eurovision. And so I did, and it met all the requirements. I was like, all right. And then I started doubting myself because maybe it's not a Eurovision type of song. But then I was like, okay, I ain't got nothing to lose. So I decided to submit it, and then, to my big disbelief, I got in. And that day, everything changed for me, really. Because I went from having maybe like 50 subscribers at the time, to now, I think I'm past 700. But then people know who I am. People recognize me in the streets. So that's crazy. For the first 2 days, I wasn't able to do anything because I was in too much of a shock. But then I had to start preparing the performance for Eurovision, and I did my best. Yeah, it was my first performance on such a big stage, first one on TV. So there was a lot of crazy things I had to do, and I don't have a team that would do it for me. So that was probably the most challenging part, I would say.
Well, I mean, you definitely made a mark on the stage. And honestly, Poland's national selection, I loved the show. The production quality was really good. What was the process like? Like, did you know you wanted to have dancers? Did they sort of give you ideas for how you could bring it to life on stage? Or did you have to kind of work on that independently?
I know. I worked on that alone. That was the hardest thing for me because I've never directed a show before, or I had never directed a show before that moment. So I had to, sit down. And at that time, I also had to drive and travel between Gdańsk and Warsaw because I live in Gdańsk and everything was happening in Warsaw. So I had to do that whilst traveling. I sat down and I was like, okay, what I want from this, that I can also achieve on such a short notice, which was like around a week. So I sat down, I wrote down my ideas, and then I sent them to the producers of the show in TVP, which is like the broadcaster. And they did as much for me as they could. Um, Not everything that I wanted ended up in the show, but that was for many reasons. I wanted maybe something different with the lights, but then in the end, I was very happy that I was able to come up with what I did come up with. Um, the dancers, yes, I also wanted more dancers ideally, but then again, on such a short notice, I had to find the dancers that would be comfortable on such a big stage, that would have some kind of experience, and then come up with the choreography, which one of my dancers did. Sylvia, she's also a choreographer, so she did that for me, thankfully. I also, my idea was to have like plus size dancers with me, but again, I was not able to do it on such a short notice. So if I had more time, I would definitely do it slightly differently. But for the amount of time I had, I think I did a pretty good job.
No, definitely. And I love hearing all of this sort of insider knowledge to a certain degree because I don't think a lot of folks know just how much work and like planning goes into this stuff. But, now that you've done it once, maybe next time you come back, now you sort of know a little bit of the lay of the land, and then you can kind of maybe bring more of your dreams to life on the stage.
Definitely, yeah. And then I also wasn't aware, well, maybe I was, but I kind of didn't want to believe in it, how many stimuli you have on the stage. Because, yeah, I performed before, but it was nothing like this. So here you have cameras, you have lights, you have people, like at the like in front of you singing your song back at you, which has never happened to me before. So I was like, okay, this is crazy. So I heard them, they were singing so loud that I could hear them through my like earpieces. um so that was crazy, and so I lost focus, I couldn't focus very well. But then I wanted to take in as much as possible of all of that. And yeah, it's definitely a great experience, that I learned a lot from, and now I will implement that in my next performances.
Wonderful. So, I'm an American Eurovision fan, so I want to shift gears a little bit. You being Polish, like for you, what was your first Eurovision memory? Can you recall?
Yeah, I was actually very small, and I remember sitting in my in living room with my parents and watching Ich Troje, which is a Polish band, perform Keine Grenzen. And I was thinking like, oh my God, I would love to do it one day. Like I would love this to be me one day. And then I don't know how many years later, but many years later, there I was on like national pre-selection stage doing this, what they did. So I was like, damn, that's a full circle for me.
Yeah, do
Yeah.
you remember, can you remember maybe like the first time that you ever like performed? It might have been like maybe it was a talent show, maybe it was in your family's living room, but can you remember your first ever like performance?
Yeah, I used to perform a lot as a child, on like school events and maybe, yeah, talent shows and competitions. But the first one I remember very vividly would probably be this one show we did at event in our secondary school, and I was singing "Party in the Party in the USA" by Miley Cyrus with my best friend. Um, yeah, and the reason why I remember this is because we wanted to do so. Okay, there is this video. I think maybe from the VMAs when where Miley comes out of this cabin, like a plane, and we wanted to recreate that, but obviously for secondary school standards. So we had this cardboard, and we wanted to make a plane and come out of it. In the end, we didn't do it because we ran out of paper. So we performed without it. But yeah, that's probably why I remembered it, because it was a lot of fun for us.
Oh, I love that. So, I going back to your song Booty, can you tell me what inspired the song? And if you could get like a featured singer or rapper, like dream featured singer or like rapper to like hop on and like drop a verse or a bridge or something, who would it be?
Okay, so maybe I will start with that. I would say probably Doja Cat, because I really love her. She's very inspiring to me, and the way her brain works and the way she writes is really incredible. So I would say her because from all of the people that that I find is inspiring, I think this is the most her style. Um, so yeah, I would say Doja Cat. I would love to work with her one day. Um, and then what inspired it? Well, there are many levels to the songs, but like two main thoughts that I had whilst writing was one, um, like body positivity, loving yourself, being unconditionally yourself, um, without like regardless of what people think about you, and what you look like. I wanted to show that it's possible to feel beautiful and fierce and to love yourself. And then another thing is relations between women and their complexity, which is most visible in the intro, where I observed this problem where when there is when somebody in a relationship cheats, I think that women tend to blame or um, focus their anger on the other women, which more often than not, let's be honest, they didn't know. So I found it unfair and problematic. So I wanted to also speak about that.
Well, I just have to ask, so do y'all have Love and Hip Hop in Poland? Do y'all get the show?
No, I don't think
Oh,
so.
oh my goodness. I'm just telling you, this song belongs. So sometimes I'll listen to Eurovision songs and I'm like, okay, this belongs on Love Island. Your song, I was like, we need to have this on Love and Hip Hop. You need to Google it after this.
I will.
When you Google it, you'll be like, oh, okay. I get it. It's a reality show here in the States. It's been on TV for a while. We've got Love and Hip Hop Atlanta. So the original was Love and Hip Hop New York. Then we got Love and Hip Hop Atlanta, then Love and Hip Hop LA, and then I think the most recent one is Love and Hip Hop Miami. So Trina's on it and Remy Ma and stuff. So it's like a
Okay, I will Google it.
it's a big deal. So I ask everyone this question. I would say that this might be my signature question. So let's say you actually were able to represent Poland at Eurovision 2023, but you can't have booty. You got to take a song from maybe another artist and then put the Ahlena spin on it, remix. Whose song? Because you've heard some of the songs that are going to be at Eurovision. Whose song would you want to kind of remix and cover and make your own?
I would say from Polish selections that we had, that from the contestants that were with me, I would probably pick Ala's song "The New Home." Just because I know it's very different from Booty, but that's also another side to me and to like my music. I do love like hip hop and R&B music, but I also love very like soulful songs, like Adele kind of vibe, and that's very similar to Ala's song. Um, so I actually do really enjoy this song, and she sounded beautiful. I didn't hear her performance live, but I heard her during rehearsals, and I was blown away. So yeah, maybe I would say that one.
Okay, okay, I like that. And are there any songs from Eurovision 2023 that you're like, "Ooh, I really like that song," or that stood out to you and you're like, "Oh, what was that?"
Yeah, I would say that the Norwegian song. And then also, obviously, now Loreen, that she's qualified. Yeah, I'm very excited to see what she's gonna do the second time around.
Okay, I'm also asking everyone this random question, so I'm running almost like a poll in my mind. What is a language that you don't speak, but that you like the sound of and maybe would want to like learn?
Oh, um, I would say French. I do speak a little bit of French, but I lost a lot of it because I used to learn French in high school, but then I never spoke after that. So I lost a lot of it. So I would want to go back to that.
Well, it's interesting you say French because French is currently in the lead. Most of the folks that I've interviewed this season have said that they want to learn French. So I don't know, maybe Lazara at Eurovision is going to be have to like giving out some lessons on French and helping people out. Well, thank you so much for talking with me. And before we take a break, what's next for you music wise? And can I just say, if you have not already done this, you need to be reaching out to these pre-party people because the Eurovision pre-party season, it's about to get kicked off. And I just know that Eurovision fans are going to want to be bumping to booty on the dance floor. So you got to reach out. But yeah, what's next for you music-wise?
Well, I have a lot of work now, music-wise. So first of all, I want to give y'all the next single as soon as possible. So I'm working on that as we speak. Yeah, and then also I really want to release the music video for Booty. But again, it takes a lot of time and effort. I also have like normal job, which is not an excuse. I
Well,
can
hold
still
on.
do all of
What is your normal job? What is your day job?
like corporate.
Wait, corporate?
Yes.
Okay, so do you do like accounting? Do you do yeah, what is your like maybe your job
Well,
title? I don't know.
um I'm in compliance, and I basically review membership agreements and contracts, and then make sure it's all compliant. Um,
So we got a corporate baddie with a
yeah.
music career and everything. We will definitely be wanting to follow you. So make sure to, I'll put your social media information in here in the description below and throughout. So make sure you follow our girl and keep up with this music, okay?
I will, yeah. I love making music, so I will keep doing that. And yeah, I'm hoping to release the next song at some point in April. So nobody knows that yet. So y'all heard it first here.
We love it. We love an exclusive. Thank you so much.
But yeah, thank you for having me.